All right. So first off, welcome. I know that we are in the midst of new international student orientation, but if I haven't had the chance to meet you yet, just a warm welcome. We are so excited to meet you both virtually and in person. I know we've been planning for this for a long time, so it's been really special to just meet students at our coffee hours, at our different events, and be able to offer these sessions. My name is Grace Fuller. I use she, her pronouns, and I get to serve as the manager of student experience and engagement here at ISPO, otherwise known as the International Students and Programs Office. I get the pleasure of running things like a new international student orientation and trying to offer different programs and events that hopefully make the most of your time here. A little bit of housekeeping before we begin. So first off, you are in listen only mode, which means you can hear us, but we cannot hear you. So we encourage our students to ask questions utilizing the Q&A feature on your Zoom menu bar. We'll do our best to get to those questions, but that's going to be the best way to interact with us. Next, we are recording. So this webinar, as well as all other orientation webinars, will be posted at inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu. And finally, we have dedicated a section at the end of today's session for open question and answer. But if for some reason we don't get to your question today, you can always reach out to our office via icontact.ucsd.edu. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're really excited to be able to offer, it's a new session for us this year, highlighting how to find research opportunities specifically for undergraduate students. And with that, I'm going to ask my lovely presenters to introduce themselves. So we'll start with Mercedes and we'll go down the line.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Mercedes Favors. I'm actually the office manager at the Undergraduate Research Hub, and I'm extremely excited to be here to provide everyone with the tons of opportunities and programs that we have to offer if anyone's interested in beginning research or in the beginning stages, intermediate. So I'm here to help.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maggie Thatch Moorshed. I'm so excited to be here because I feel like there's so many opportunities on this campus, but it's really hard to navigate those opportunities. So what I do at OASIS is I am in charge of all of the writing programs and writing support. And you may be wondering, like, what does this have to do with research? Well, all of the research opportunities that you might be able to get, all of them require some kind of writing about yourself, about what you're interested in the application. So that is why I'm here, and I'm happy to go over that a little bit later in this presentation.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to UC San Diego. My name is Meredith Mendez. My pronouns are she and hers, and I am an internship counselor with the Academic Internship Program, and I also oversee the BISP 197 course, which is our Biology Research Internship Program. We help support students get academic credit for academic internships. So I'll be talking more about our program. I'll highlight BISP 197 for those of you who have an interest in biology research. And we can just open the door for conversation on how we can get you into research.
So as you can see, we are so fortunate to have so many different content area experts with us today. So without further ado, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about reflection, and I'm going to hand it over to Mercedes.
Thank you, Grace. So before we get into all the amazing opportunities that all of us that we can offer, it's important for you as future researchers to ask yourself a few questions. So not only are you on the right path, but you know the correct process to get you to where you want to be. First thing would be, what topics are you interested in? That's more so, what are you passionate about? And what can help that is to do some research, do some background to get kind of an idea of what your future research journey could be. So that's more so, what do you want to do and what do you want to see come out of it? Conducting research is a great thing, but it's better if you're interested, essentially. So when choosing your topic, I suggest, what is the major of your topic or the topic that you may have an idea for? Is your topic related to past or present versus, and then, more so thinking about comparing and contrasting more so from the past to right now. Is your research going to be beneficial as far as seeing a difference with increasing or decreasing. So the whys and the whats will help you guide you to narrow your topic down. And along with what you're interested in, more so what skills do you want to learn? So obviously, going through research, you want to learn an abundant amount of skills that will, help you throughout life, from attention to detail, researching information. But then also, if you would really like to learn how to write scientific articles for publishing, doing research can help you at some point present at a possible conference. So it's the skills that you want to take out of doing your research. More so goes back to the why. Move on to, what do you want to get out of this research experience and when do you want to pursue it? So when conducting research, of course, it's you and the people who you're going to be working with, but it's also mainly, what do you want to do? What do you want to get out of this experience? And only you can answer that question. So obviously, we know what we put in is what we get. So if what you want to get is, you want to be a researcher, if you want to change the world, if you're doing this so you can apply to graduate school or medical school, whatever the topic may be or the reason why, I feel that's what you should concentrate on first and foremost. And then, of course, it may change throughout the duration as you get more involved. And you may switch topics because, believe it or not, a lot of students switch research topics like majors in college. It's so broad. And as you narrow it down with experience, you tend to guide your way through. And how can you plan for this experience? Obviously, the main thing is time management. Are you at the point in your life to where you're able to dedicate some time to doing research? I suggest speaking to professors, mentors, doing info sessions, seeing what it is that people have done to get to where they are. Because of course, you don't want to put too much time into, trying to start research so you don't fall behind to where you kind of fall back on your studies. There's a right time to begin your research, and there's always, a level to it. Everyone can get their feet wet by just speaking with someone or to getting information, going to info sessions, coming to see us at the Undergraduate Research Hub. So it's when you're ready and you feel like you have the time and the dedication, that's how we can pursue this journey. But planning, just getting as much information as you can based off of all the other questions of why, what skills do you want to learn? So my best suggestion is to, when you are ready, answer these questions so we can not only get you on the right path, but you're also doing something fulfilling for yourself.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. All right, so now we get to highlight some really relevant resources for your research journey and have the offices share a little bit more about what that looks like for them.
So for AIP, or the Academic Internship Program, so our program actually oversees 2 general courses. These courses are open to students from all majors. We have our lower division AIP 97 and our upper division AIP 197. So pretty much the way that it works is that students, whether they secure an internship through a UCSD resource, or maybe they reached out outside of the university, they reached out to a company directly and they got hired for an internship, students have the opportunity to get academic credit for that internship. And so we are one of the, we oversee 2 of the courses that allow students to do that. So as far as like our program and the way that we can help support students, we can help you by supporting you in identifying and preparing for internship opportunities, whether you're still looking for internships, whether you're looking at specific organizations or trying to identify which internship opportunities are going to be the best for you to be able to get experience in the field and be able to understand more about the industry or the field that you're interested in. We can definitely help you with that. We also help you with enrolling in an AIP course as well. We can help you through the application process and talk about things like who you might want to have as a faculty advisor, or how to just get the most out of your internship. And we also help facilitate reflection so that we can enhance your career and academic development. So throughout the year, we do have some workshops, information sessions, but we also are available through one-on-one appointments for students who want to just get more information in depth. So I am gonna drop in the chat our just like a quick flyer that you can refer to in case you want to just know more about the general program. And then I also want to highlight the couple of special programs that we have. So I oversee the BISP 197 course. This is a course that we have in partnership with the biology department. So some students are able to work, for example, like at Scripps Research, the Salk Institute, San Diego Biomedical Research Institute, and they're able to get their lab requirements fulfilled with 4 units of BISP 197. So I can help students with that course or finding internship opportunities that fulfill this course's requirements. And then we also have the UCDC program, which is a program based in Washington, DC. And then we also have the UC Sacramento program for students that are interested in public policy and civic engagement. And that program is based in Sacramento.
Okay, everyone. And as I stated, my name is Mercedes, and I'm the office manager to the Undergraduate Research Hub. And here, I'm so sorry, the name explains it all. So it's more so we help undergraduates find their way with research. We offer a lot of programs, and we also offer scholarships and summer opportunities. Some of our more popular programs, one in particular, I'm going to jump to the second bullet, is FMP, which is our faculty mentor program. And as you see, it allows students with at least sophomore standing to work as research assistants to a UCSD faculty member for 10 hours per week. And with participating, you receive 4 units of independent study credit each quarter. So in a nutshell, what you do in the FMP program is you pair up with a faculty member and conduct research alongside. So it's more so of a mentor-mentee type of program, which is very, very beneficial when beginning your research journey. You know, you take guidance from an actual professor, which is an amazing opportunity. With this, actually, we are accepting applications for FMP currently right now. Our FMP coordinator is based out of the URH building, and that's Beverly Fruto. And with the benefits of this specific program is the networking that you do receive from working with a faculty member. You know, you get the guidance and everything of that sort, and the professional development. As you go through the FMP program, upon completing it, a couple of things will happen. You can have the option to actually add the FMP participation to your co-curricular record, and that will highlight your involvement and achievements and opportunities of the classroom that you did participate in. And that is actually incorporated in your official UCSD transcript. And also upon completing FMP, you are able to participate in our undergraduate research conference, where after your research is complete, you're able to present your research in a conference setting. And we actually just completed ours this year, first time in person since COVID. And generally, off the top of my head, it was more than 400 attendees at this year's URC. So it's a wonderful opportunity and something to work towards. We also have our TRAILS program, which is our Trent Research and Experiential Learning Scholars are awarded $1,000 for working with their project, and you can use that towards research, creative projects, and also our TRAILS coordinator, who is Daniel Mohammed. He's actually out of our office as well. So any information regarding either of these, or actually all three, our coordinators are placed in URH, and they're more than happy to help you. And we actually have info sessions that are coming up pertaining to TRAILS and FMP, and you can refer to that on our website, which is located on the lower left-hand side. Aside from the 2 that are offered to undergraduates, we have UC Scholars, and that is one of our prestigious programs. It's an 8-week full-time research experience for undergraduates. It is an amazing opportunity, and our coordinator is also here, and that is Dr. Sophia Saineri, and she gives you the guidance that you would need to complete the program. And I know that a lot of this can be overwhelming at times, and we offer programs such as these as well as summer opportunities, which you can also see at our link, and the eligibility as well. And as far as our conferences, which is the big thing that students, work towards to present at a conference, which goes back into the skills that you may be interested in learning. Conferences that we host are our undergraduate research conference, as well as summer research conference, which we actually just completed as well, which is associated with our summer research program. And the numerous scholarships that we offer, for example, the Gilman Scholarship, the Goldwater, the Strauss, we give you guidance with the application process to meeting with our director, who is Dr. David Artis, the director of the Undergraduate Research Hub, along with the letters of recommendation. We more so just guide you through the entire process. These are prestigious scholarships, so they're very competitive, but we show all of our students the utmost support. And if you are interested in learning about our weekly events, which we have an open house, which will be held on Monday at 10 a.m. at Student Center Beast, where you're more than welcome to come speak with our coordinators, learn about more so in depth what we do, how we can help, which program fits you more. If you're interested in participating in multiple, that you can do that as well. And our goal is to mold you to be the best researchers that we can have you to be. It's more so it can go baby steps. So it can be overwhelming at times, but we have a coordinator and of course myself here to guide you in every way possible. So if you subscribe to our newsletter, you can see the many additional opportunities aside from the ones that you can see. You'll see them in our newsletter.
Hi everyone, Maggie here. So my resource kind of seems to be like the odd man out because it doesn't directly have to do with research necessarily, right? But like I said at the top of the presentation is that when you're looking for all of these research opportunities, you have to apply to them. And something that is similar in all applications, you have to write about either yourself or the topic, right? And a lot of people have a hard time doing this. So I run the writing support program at OASIS. We offer writing support that is affirming, that allows students to embrace their unique voices and become better writers. So we really encourage you to embrace your own story. We know that you're international students, how you came to be a student here at UCSD, what you went through, trials and tribulations. We help you embrace that story and figure out how to tell that story in a compelling way. So at my writing support programs called LATS, we offer one-on-one tutoring, either in person or online. We have things called drop-in community write-ins. We really believe in the sense of community to help people become better writers. I know all UCSD students feel like this, not just international students feel like this, but writing is hard. We're on this campus. It's the STEM focused campus. People are like, I don't need writing. I'm focusing on STEM, but you will have to worry about writing. And sometimes it feels like writing is hard because you're the only one who doesn't get it, or you're the only one who struggles as much. And maybe, English is not your primary language and you feel insecurity or anxiety about that. LATS is a great place for you to bring those anxieties so that we can talk through them and that you feel more comfortable in the writing process. That's what drop-in community write-ins are. We also offer workshops that showcase the opportunities that Mercedes just talked about, and then we show you how to apply to them. And we also have professional development and study skills workshops. After undergrad, you're going to want to apply for a job, right? You have to write a cover letter. You have to write a resume. Some of you, maybe in this room, you are interested in grad school, med school, dental school, law school. All of them require a personal statement. So my support program can be a place for you to work on those projects. And I just wanted to highlight in these pictures just what's going on, because what's unique about OASIS LATS as well is that we really emphasize linguistic diversity. We don't offer tutoring in other languages, but almost everybody on my staff speaks another language, and that can be really comforting when you're trying to write in English, when you have multiple ways to express yourself, and we have facilitators at LATS who can understand. And that bottom right corner picture, you'll see Christina. She was a facilitator. So she was running this feedback, like giving feedback to students who were in the FMP program. So they were writing a research paper. And I organized it. So all of those students were Mandarin speaking. And at various points in that feedback group, they switched back between English and Mandarin, which I thought was so cool because, you know, sometimes when you speak a different language, you're like, what's that word again? What's that word again? And to have a facilitator be like, oh, I know what you're talking about. That's something that we really value here at LATS. So please feel free to come to our resource for not only research opportunities that obviously you all are interested in, but things like personal statements and academic writing. Those are things that we can help support as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm sure some of you are thinking, great, I'm interested in research. I love these resources, but what do I actually need to do? How would I actually go ahead and get started? And Maggie is going to take us through some of those next steps.
Okay, so Mercedes just highlighted an amazing opportunity. And what's really tough about the quarter system at UCSD, it is so fast. You're going to start school and then all these deadlines are going to come up. So the FMP program, the deadline for it is, so the application already open. It's open right now. It already open. It closes October 6th. So that's not a lot of time to like reach out to get resources, right? So I wanted us to look at the application together. So you'll see this and maybe you'll have the same reaction I did when I first looked at it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. This is a lot. How am I going to do all of this by October 6th? So I want to bring your attention to a couple of places which are research proposal. So it says, provide a brief description of the project and our research activities you plan to conduct under the guidance of your faculty member. If possible, elaborate on what types of research methodologies you will be conducting, 350 words max. So this is what I'm talking about. Every application requires some writing, right? You might think of this as like, oh, I just need to like write in what it is I'm interested in, but there's a craft to it. There's an art to it. There's a way that you can make it so that you sound really invested in that topic so that they select you for the program, right? I want to also bring your attention down to mentor name and contact information. So it says students should find a mentor and discuss a potential research project before adding that faculty member's name and email to the FMP application. So a lot of people are interested in faculty mentor program, right? But this aspect of the application is really intimidating to some students, especially if you're coming in as a first year or a second year. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know any potential mentors. How do I even reach out to anybody? So this is what you can also come to LATS for. So I'm going to show you a way that you can reach out, because maybe you're thinking like, do I just email them? Do I just go to their office hours? How do I even find this person, right? So if you could go to the next slide. So there are a lot of ways that email interactions go wrong. I feel like sometimes students overlook how important emails are. And emails are the way to get in contact with professors, right? So here are all the ways that it goes wrong. They're vague. There's an off-putting tone, or they don't have a proper context, right? So let me give you an example of an email. Dear Professor Smith, I am applying to a program called McNair here on campus. I need a professor to be my mentor. Will you be my mentor? Please let me know if there's anything else you need from me. Sincerely, Maggie. So even though I made this up, it's based on facts, y'all. Like this was like a real email that a professor received. So if this is how you're emailing professors, you're not increasing your chances of them responding to you, because the tone is a little bit off-putting. You're not really showing what it is that you're interested in. You're not showing why you're reaching out to that professor. You're not showing the initiative you have. You know, it's just kind of like, oh, can you be my mentor? You know, you're not putting your best foot forward and convincing. Basically, you have to convince professors to be a mentor to you, right? This email is not that convincing. So let's talk about ways that an email can be convincing. So next slide, please. So how do we reach out to professors? And like, how do you even know who to reach out to? So with any professional emails, you want to consider 3 things, okay? So you want to be super clear. So you want to have clarity. Be clear about what you're asking or saying. So if it is you're asking for their mentorship, or you're asking for their endorsement, or you're just asking for their insights, be clear, okay? Second thing that you want to always do, know your audience. Who are you emailing exactly? What are you emailing that person? What is the context around that person? What I mean by this is maybe a professor is so busy and you have to email their admin assistant. You have to email their TA. You have to email, do you know what I mean? Like, if know who that person is in relation to the person you're trying to reach. Don't address everybody the exact same way. Do a little bit of research of who that person is. Know who is on the other end of that email. Okay. Lastly, you should show gratitude. So show that you appreciate their time and effort. Show that you understand the dynamic of that relationship. You're basically asking somebody for a favor. You're asking them to give them your time. So you need to show that, 1, you're dedicated, you're invested, you're willing to do, you're willing to be a hard worker. That example email I showed you doesn't do those things. Okay, so we're going to do a quick activity. So I can't see you, right? I can't see that you're doing, but I'm going to trust that you're going to do this with me. Okay, so go to ugresearch.ucsd.edu. So this is the office that Mercedes works at. This is the place that houses all of those amazing research opportunities. Okay, go to the Students tab. Under the Students tab, click on How to Find a Research Mentor. Okay, you're going to have to open another drop menu. Click on UC San Diego Faculty Profiles, UC San Diego Health Only. So I'm going to show you how to even narrow down who to reach out to, because maybe you're like, I don't even know who to reach out to, right? So let me show you what that little box looks like. So next, press next, Grace. Yeah, so this is what it should look like. So under Find UCSD Experts On, I want you to put, that's why we had you reflect at the beginning of the presentation, right? Put something you're interested in. So find UCSD experts on Alzheimer's, on childhood diseases, on blah, 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 whatever you're interested, put it in there, right? I picked women's health. That's what I picked. So this next example is based on what came up for me when I put in women's health. Okay. All right. So say that you're doing all of this with me. You find a professor that is doing something on a topic that you're interested in. So I did it on women's health, right? So I did a little bit of work before. I looked up this person. Her name's Christina Chambers. Let me read you this email. This is compared to the other email I showed you, right? My name is Maggie. I am a first-year student majoring in women's studies. I admire the work you do with Mommy's Milk, a nationwide human milk biorepository, as well as your research on child health and development. As someone who is curious about how to improve child health outcomes, I'm inquiring if you have any openings in your lab or know where I can look for these opportunities. So again, you're gonna have to adjust the language based on what you want. So if you want, a possible mentor for your faculty mentor program, it doesn't have to sound like this. But what I'm showing you is I went on that database, I looked up a particular person, I looked up their projects, I looked at what their interests are, I looked at their accomplishments, and then I'm able to put that into the email. You see what I did there? I admire the work you do with Mommy's Milk. So like I'm showing that I did research on her and I'm interested in that kind of work too. And then I'm very clear about what I'm asking from her. I'm inquiring if you have any openings in your lab or know where I can look for these opportunities. Okay, so let's look at the next paragraph. Growing up in a country that did not see the importance of childhood health, I didn't get opportunities to pursue research in this area. While I don't have lab experience right now, I'm hoping that I can start in a lab such as yours. So I'm giving context. I'm giving some background on me. Like, oh, I came from a country that didn't see the importance of childhood health. I didn't have opportunities to pursue research in this area that I'm interested in. And I'm also being very upfront. This is for first years. First years take note, like, oh, you don't have lab experience. You don't have to be ashamed of that. You can just say upfront, I don't have lab experience, but I'm hoping that I can start. Next paragraph, I would love to hear your thoughts and advice about how someone like me could get started. I noticed you have office hours from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Could I drop by your office hours to discuss possible opportunities? So this is very different than, let me know what you need from me. I need a mentor, right? You're showing that you have done your research. You know when their office hours are. You're making it easy for them. You're asking like, hey, can I just drop in and ask you these questions, right? You're not just asking for a favor like you would ask your friend. You're showing that respect to a professor. And then you show that gratitude. Thank you so much for your time. Sincerely, Maggie. So what you'll see in this email is clarity. I'm very clear about what I need and want. Context, giving context, like who am I? Why am I interested in this? And then gratitude, showing gratitude for that person's time, showing respect for that person's accomplishments by saying Professor Christina Chambers. If they're a doctor, put that they're a doctor, right? These are important things to know. And the activity that I had you go through, like looking up their bio page, really helps give you that information so that you can show in an email that gratitude and respect.
Maggie, that was so helpful. I personally loved the way you just broke that down. I was like, yes, yes, like this, I'm so happy we're able to offer this session. Students through the iTriton course actually asked for a session like this to say, how can I engage with research and how do I actually access it? So to have something where it makes it accessible is something we're really excited to offer. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of research opportunities. So how can you highlight the skills that you'll develop by participating in research and how to maybe use that towards and work towards your next goals? So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Meredith to talk a little bit about the co-curricular record program.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Maggie, I just wanted also to highlight like how helpful that was. Like I would have loved to have had that as a student myself. And students do need to find a faculty advisor for them to participate in the AIP program as well. So just the way that you explained how to reach out to a professor if you're interested in having them as a mentor, you can easily use that strategy as well if you're trying to find a faculty advisor to oversee your final project for you to get credit for the class. So I definitely wanted to highlight that. So for the co-curricular record, so this is a resource that is part of the Experiential Learning Hub in the Teaching and Learning Commons. So AIP, our program, is part of the Teaching, Learning, and Commons, and we also work in partnership with the co-curricular record. So this is actually a supplement to your transcript. So your transcript is going to have all your grades, all the classes that you've taken throughout your time at UCSD. So the co-curricular record accompanies your transcript, and it's pretty much a list of any experiences that you've had at UCSD outside the classroom, whether that is a on-campus job, if you were part of any student orgs, if you did volunteer work, research and internships, all of that you can actually go on the website and see the process for what it's like to have that added to your transcript. And so the great thing about this resource is that when you are applying for jobs like after graduation, or when you're looking at all of like the different experience that you've participated in, this is just a great way to highlight that. It's a great way to highlight your career readiness skills, whether for example, if you were a orientation leader, or if you volunteered as part of a student org, like maybe you practiced leadership, maybe you practice collaboration, or you practice like critical thinking, like you practice, like you could have practiced any number of career readiness skills, such as the ones that are listed on here. And the co-curricular record is just a way for you to have that highlighted. So it's just a great way for you to be able to show people, be able to show prospective employer, like, this is how, my time at UCSD was spent. Like, this is how I honed these skills. This is how I am a holistically well-rounded candidate. And like, this is these are all the skills that I bring that I bring as an individual trying to apply with your organization. So we do have the website on here for you to get more information about that. And then I also have the list of different career development competencies that maybe you want to consider as you're looking into research, or as you're looking into other types of opportunities. What kind of things do you maybe want to practice so that you can be a more competitive candidate when you're applying for jobs?
And I'm just going to come back in to remind you all the things that our program can help with. So again, grad school personal statements. If you are applying for any of those prestigious scholarships that Mercedes mentioned, again, a lot of statements in the applications. We do academic opportunities, internships. Oh, I'm sorry. The writing projects that you would need for academic opportunities, internships, or resumes and cover letters, we can definitely help you with. And then last but not least, even if you're working on your writing for your classes, for all of you who are taking a college writing program, we can definitely help you in those courses as well. So our hours are 10:30 to 6. We're located on the 3rd floor of Center Hall. Tutoring begins October 2nd, and I'm going to put into the chat the website for our platform for making appointments. So wconline.com.
Wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to move into the question and answer portion of today's webinar. I know that we've had a few questions actually come through the Q&A already, and I'm wondering if there's anything that you all would find useful to verbally highlight that all students could benefit from.
I can definitely go first. So I did notice that a couple of students asked specifically, like, as a freshman, like, what is it that I can participate in? And I just want to emphasize that whether you are in your first year, second, or third year, I definitely want you, I would definitely would want students to think about how we definitely want you to take advantage to whatever kinds of opportunities are out there. But definitely don't feel like, I definitely also don't want you to feel overwhelmed that you have to do this now. You can also definitely benefit from having more classes under your belt before you start pursuing some research opportunities. Like, I'll say from my perspective, sometimes I'll have students trying to apply for biology research internships, and a couple of those internship sites, they'll let them know that they were a great candidate, like they seem like they would be great to work with in the lab, but they invite them to actually apply like within a year, or like after they've taken a couple more courses in biology, so that whatever it is that they've learned in their classes, they're actually able to apply it to what it is that they're doing in the lab, and they're able to just get a little bit more lab experience. So I just want to point that out as well. Definitely, everybody's path is different. So I definitely just want to emphasize that you can definitely just figure out what's best for you, and don't get discouraged if, like, maybe you're first trying to find these opportunities and maybe you're not getting the responses that you want. Maybe you might just need some time to just get more skills and get more experience under your belt.
I would also like to add to that some of these programs are geared toward people who further along in their UCSD journeys because they've had that experience in like different courses. But I would also say, you can make that first year valuable by reaching out the way that I, showed how you can reach out and just talking to people. So maybe right now you're like, oh, I'm interested in biology. So let me ask, this mentor seems perfect. Seems like that's who I would want to be in 10 years. But after you talk to them, they talk about something else. And they're like, they said something about physics that really interested me. So now I'm interested in physics, like explore. This is the time to explore. And maybe you're not sure what you want to do research in, and you can just talk to a bunch of people about like, oh, what was your experience? Like, what did you wish you knew when you were my age? What would you do again if you had your first year over? Like inform yourself, like give yourself as much information as possible to make the best decision next year when it's like, what do I want to get into? What field do I want to go in? What experience do I want to have? You want to have your own experiences and insights too before then. So use that first year as not like, oh, well, I can't apply for FMP until my second year anyway. So I'll just hang out until then. Not that hanging out is bad. It's good to have balance, but also there's nothing holding you back from just reaching out to professors. And honestly, I can't speak for all professors, but I know even as a staff member, if a student reaches out to me earnestly, sincerely, I'm going to want to help that person. And I feel like that's true for a lot of people on this campus. So if you're just reaching out, like, I would just like to hear what you do. I just like to hear why you're interested in this field, to help me narrow down what I would like to do my research in. I feel like anybody would want to do that. And if you haven't heard of like Coffee with a Professor, please utilize that. This is the perfect opportunity to do that, right? These opportunities are there for you to make connections. I feel a lot of times students get intimidated because they don't know what to ask, but that's another thing that LATS can help you with, like make an appointment and be like, I want to meet with this professor. I don't know what to ask. Even that is something that we can help with. So reach out. Don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid.
And I also want to add one more thing. I do know that there are a lot of programs to choose from. There are a lot of programs to consider. And if you're eligible, what are the requirements? How long is it? So I actually am going to drop in the chat. This is all the programs that we offer here at URH. And then you are also able to see the requirements. You're able to see the website links to each of our programs, the field. So it's just basically a table to where when you're ready to see what you qualify for, or even if you don't meet the requirements, all of our coordinators are more than happy to speak with you. Like Maggie said, if you want just information, guidance of how to prepare when you are ready to apply, we're more than happy to provide that to you as well.
I couldn't echo what's been shared more. One of the terms that we use for what Maggie and Mercedes just highlighted is called informational interviews. And that's a term that you might hear more and more. And I would highly recommend to take advantage, especially of this first year, and conduct some informational interviews. So the link that Meredith just put in the chat, the Coffee Dine with a Prof, is the perfect way to set some of those up. But like Maggie said, truly, most people on this campus we're here for a reason, right? We're here because we love working with students. So if you reach out to folks and say, hey, I would love to ask you some questions about your life, or ask you about what you do and why you do what you do, overwhelmingly, you'll get some positive replies of folks who would be willing to meet with you for informational interviews. So I think that is such a great advice, especially in your first year, to one, just start to understand what yourself you might be interested in, but two, kind of build some of those relationships, start that networking that might lead to some opportunities down the line. Are there any other questions that come through? I do have a few outro slides, so I'd really like to recommend to students. If I do go through some of our last slides, please take a minute if you have that like burning question that you really want to ask. Now is a great time to do so. I know our presenters were so kind to share their contact information in the beginning, so you can follow up and reach out to them that way. But I also want to offer to our presenters, are there any other things that have come through the Q&A that you'd like to verbally highlight? I'm going to give you a minute to think about it, and I'm going to go through a few of our outro slides. Okay, so we are still rocking and rolling with orientation. So right now we're hosting meetups. So meetups are cool because they're for students by students. A lot of the meetups we have currently are interest group meetups. So you can meet students with similar interests to you. Now this is happening this week during our in-person orientation events, but meetups are also going through next week as well. So it's a great way to start to build your community and build your network here on campus. We have our bus tour. We had one last Saturday and we have one coming up next Saturday. It's UC San Diego. So to start to familiarize yourself with a home away from home. Later today, we actually have our International Student Fan Fest at 5:30. That's our collaboration with athletics, where you'll get to meet some international student athletes, and then that's actually going to roll right into the women's volleyball game. And then next Wednesday, we have our International Mixer. So this is a large scale event that welcomes both our incoming students as well as our continuing students that really celebrates our global community. This event is open to both domestic and international students because we all are a part of that global community here on campus. Okay, so if you are able to make it to one of our coffee hours, it was so lovely to see you there. Once we switch it over into the academic year, we go to once a month. So we had it every day this week, and then starting in October, it'll be once a month throughout the academic year. A few of our mixers have already happened, but coming up next Wednesday is our GAP mixer, that stands for the Global Ambassador Program. So if you were a first year student who participated in this mentorship program, we'd love for you to meet your GAP mentor and meet other GAP pairs at our GAP mixer on Wednesday, September 27th at 2:30. And then finally, our iEvents calendar. This is a way that you can just stay up to date with everything that's happening here at ISPO. And so a lot of students might bookmark this tab. So whenever they're curious about like what's happening this week, it's an easy way to find something to do. And finally, we are running a giveaway. So if you follow us on Instagram, like that post, and then go ahead and share a picture from orientation to your Instagram story. We'd love to reshare, and we'll be raffling off Amazon gift cards and orientation t-shirts. So best of luck. Okay, so we're going to pause here for a moment. Please go ahead and take some time to scan that QR code and fill out the survey. Just some final reminders from the International Students and Programs Office. Please submit your check-in via iPortal. Your check-in is how we activate your CVIS record, and that's really important for your F1 or your J1 student visa. So please go ahead and submit that check-in form. You can register for other orientation sessions and events at iorientationucsd.com. And again, if you have a question, you can always reach us at icontact.ucsd.edu. And with that, we have come to the close of our session today. I just want to thank again our fellow presenters, Mercedes, Meredith, Maggie. It was such a pleasure to have you all here. I thought that this was a really helpful session. And so we want you to be, we're just so thankful for all that you do to welcome our new Tritons to campus. As always, again, students, feel free to reach us, icontact.ucsd.edu. And with that, have a great rest of your day. Thanks, y'all.
Have a good weekend.